guys, Taylor here and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you've already been here, thanks for coming back. So this is going to be our first makeup review of the year 2024, and today I'm going to be talking about the newest concealer from Fenty Beauty. So if you are interested in hearing my thoughts on this concealer, then please keep on watching. Before we start the video, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Please turn your post notifications on so you get notified every time your girl uploads a video, and follow me on Instagram. And with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Today we are going to be focusing on the newest concealer from Fenty Beauty. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the concealer before I apply it to my face, but before I do that, I'm going to prime my face so my primer can sit while we are talking about the concealer. So for primer, I'm going to be using this one that I've been loving. This is from Caliray. If you haven't tried this primer, go ahead and try it out. It is good at blurring but also hydrating the skin, and it's also very, very long wearing. So this is the We're Even Hydrating Longwear Waterproof Concealer. This retails for $30 and comes in 50 shades. One thing about Fenty is going to give us a shade range, and not just any shade range, but a good shade range. I feel like the shade range of this concealer is really good. Before we talk about the shades, let me tell you guys the claims of this concealer. So this is supposed to be a 12-hour hydrating longwear concealer that comes in a wide range of medium coverage shades with a natural second skin finish. So this is not supposed to be a full coverage concealer. This is supposed to be your skin but better kind of concealer, and I do agree with that. I did pick up the shade number 400. I was thinking about getting the shade 385, 390, 400 or 410, and thanks to Fenty, this concealer was available in a store near me on launch day and the entire shade range was there. So I was able to swatch the 4 shades that I was thinking about, and after swatching all these shades, I ended up going with the shade number 400 just because the undertone of this is a neutral undertone, and I feel like this is going to look really good on my skin. I do feel like the shade 400 is going to conceal, but it's also going to brighten my under eyes a little bit. I'm going to swatch it and show you guys what it looks like next to some of my other concealers, but I'm going to upload some pictures on the screen with these swatches in store, and I'll label them so you know exactly what swatch you're looking at. So the shade number 385 is a warm undertone, number 390 is a cool undertone, number 400, which is the shade that I got, is a neutral undertone, and the shade number 410 is a warm undertone. I liked the shade of 385, but I feel like it would have been a little bit too warm for my under eyes. Number 390 was too cool. Number 410 looked really good, but I feel like it was leaning more of like a warm golden undertone. I feel like that shade would have looked super yellow under my eyes, so I ended up going with the shade number 400. Y'all will see what this looks like. I think it looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and swatch it for you guys, and I'm also going to swatch it next to some of my favorite concealers so you guys can see what the shade looks like. This is the shade number 400. It is a true neutral undertone. I'm going to go ahead and swatch the Haus Labs concealer in the shade number 41, and I'm also going to swatch the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Almond, and I'm also going to swatch the KVD Good Apple Concealer in the shade number 173. I feel like the Fenty, once again, is a little bit lighter than my other concealers. So this right here is the Fenty concealer. This one right here in the middle is the Haus Labs concealer. This one over here is the NARS concealer, and then this one right down here is the KVD concealer. I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. For me, when it comes to the NARS concealer, it is like my perfect shade to conceal, but I always go in with another shade to give me a brighter under eye. Same for the Haus Labs concealer. It's a good everyday shade, but if I want a brighter under eye, I always go in with another shade. I think the Fenty concealer is going to be like a one and done if you love a bright under eye but you also want something that is going to conceal. So for foundation, I'm not going to use a Fenty foundation or a Fenty skin tint because it is a Fenty concealer. It is meant to go with their products. I want you guys to see how it plays with other products. So today I'm going to be mixing the Haus Labs foundation with the Makeup by Mario. For Haus Labs, I'm using the shade number 470, and for Mario, I'm using the shade 24. I will have both shades linked down below. If you guys want to see what it looks like with a Fenty foundation or a Fenty skin tint, let me know and I can definitely do that for you guys. So foundation is on. I am going to go in with my concealer and I'm going to apply this everywhere. So this is what the shade looks like applied to my under eyes. And then for my forehead. I know my foundation looks a little bit dark, but once I blend my concealer out, it's going to look perfect. I really do like the applicator on this concealer. It's very flat. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see. I hope my camera is focusing, but this is what the applicator looks like. It's really nice and flat. And this is what the bottle looks like for the concealer. I also really like this. I think the package looks really similar to the Skin Tint, the Ease Drop Blurring Skin Tint, the liquid version. I think this looks really similar to that bottle. I really like the shape of this concealer. I'm not sure if I want to apply this around the mouth, but I'm going to do it, but not too much. Just because this is a brighter shade and I don't like when this area is like too bright. I prefer to just use the sponge after I'm done and blend this area, but just for the sake of the video, I'm going to apply it. I am going to let this concealer sit for a minute. It's still going to blend really easily because it's more on the hydrating side. I am going to go ahead and apply my cream bronzer while my concealer is sitting. I'm using the one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in the shade number 4. So to blend my concealer, I'm going to use both a sponge and a brush. I'm going to be using the Pop-Off sponge from Shop Miss A. I'm going to blend everywhere else first and then leave my under eyes and then blend one eye with the brush and one eye with the sponge. As you can see, even though this concealer is a brightening concealer, I feel like it's not super bright, especially around the mouth. Usually if I use a bright concealer around here, it looks crazy, but it honestly does not look crazy at all. Once I'm done, I just pass over with my foundation brush just to even out everything. I'm going to use the A506 brush to blend one side of my face. This is from BK Beauty. I'll have it linked down below. And then I'll use the sponge on the other side of my face. If you're looking for a great concealer brush, this is the one. I'm going to start with the sponge first on this side of my face. And I'm going to blend that out. First of all, you guys, this concealer blends like a dream. It has been sitting for a while on my face and it's still blended beautifully. It isn't a full coverage concealer. I don't have super dark under eyes. So if your under eyes are super dark, I'd say let it sit for a bit, but it's going to give you decent coverage. I'm going to go ahead and blend the other side with the brush so you guys can see what it looks like with the brush. I feel like when you use the brush, you get more coverage. So if your under eyes are a little bit darker and you feel like you need more coverage, I'd say blend this concealer out with a brush. Once again, this has been sitting for a minute and it's still blending really nicely. Like, y'all, I'm impressed. I am impressed. I've tried the other concealer from Fenty and I liked it, but I feel like this one, dry skin girls, you are going to love this concealer. If you're somebody that likes the no makeup, soft glam, your skin but better kind of makeup, you would really enjoy this concealer. Look at my under eyes. That was so easy to blend. It looks good with a sponge. It looks good with a brush. It's going to be preference. As I said, if you need a little bit more coverage, let it sit and use a brush. It looks beautiful, you guys. Y'all know I'm a glam girl. I'm a full coverage girl. And I'm still getting coverage. It's still doing what it needs to do. I really do like this concealer. I love this a lot more than the other concealers from Fenty. I'm just going to go ahead and pass over my under eyes again before I set, just so there's no creasing under there. And then I'm going to go in with my Sephora Collection powder in the shade Translucent. I'm using a brush to apply this powder, just to give me a light set. Y'all know I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury powder. This is the 108 brush from BK. So this is what the concealer looks like after going in with a light layer of that Sephora powder. As you can see, it did set my under eyes, but it doesn't look dry. My under eyes look smooth, but it still looks hydrated to me. I am going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury setting powder just because I like going in with both powders. I'm going to press that in with a powder puff. And even after applying that Charlotte Tilbury powder, I haven't gone in with any setting spray yet. My under eyes do not look dry. It looks bright, but it doesn't look dry, y'all. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to go ahead, do the rest of my face off camera, and then come back, and then I will give you guys my final thoughts on this concealer. All right, you guys, so this is the finished look. I did set my face with the Caliray setting spray, but for my final thoughts on the Fenty Beauty concealer, you guys, I personally really like it. I think this concealer is great if you are like a clean girl, soft glam, everyday makeup kind of girl, and you are a skin tint wearing girl and you want a very lightweight concealer. This is for you. It literally feels like there's nothing on my skin. This paired with the skin tint from Fenty, chef's kiss, you guys. If you are a full coverage kind of girl and you're going to wear this concealer, I'd say use a full coverage foundation and then use this concealer, just so the foundation makes up for coverage that you are missing. Another thing that I do recommend is letting the concealer sit, so that way you get more coverage. And as you guys saw, blending out with a brush gives you more coverage, but also blending out with a sponge, if you let it sit, you still get pretty good coverage. I do feel like the concealer is long wearing. Fenty complexion products in the past lean more towards oily skin, but this new wave of Fenty complexion products I think works for all skin types. If you love the skin tints from Fenty, you'd really enjoy this concealer. If you have oily skin, I do think you can pull this concealer off because I think it is long wearing. I think oily skin girls, y'all don't hate hydrating products. What you guys hate, correct me if I'm wrong, is a hydrating product that is going to slip and slide off your face after a few hours. And I feel like this one, even though it is hydrating, it is long wearing, it's not going to slip and slide off your face. If you liked the Haus Labs concealer, I can really see you enjoying this one from Fenty. To compare it to the Haus Labs, I think Fenty concealer is more light, medium coverage, whereas the Haus Labs is more medium, going on full. It's not full coverage, but it's closer to full coverage than the Fenty. Don't know if that makes any sense. I personally really do enjoy this concealer. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Depending on what undertones you prefer, if we are shade twins, you can go between the shade 385 and the shade 410. Y'all, this concealer looks gorgeous on my skin. I have nothing bad to say about this concealer. As always, I will continue to play with this concealer and then keep you guys updated in other videos. But for right now, I really do enjoy this concealer. I think the rebranding that Fenty is doing with their complexion products, while keeping that amazing shade range, I give them a 10 out of 10, y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you are going to try this concealer out. Let's keep the conversation going down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.